This video is obviously about no contact. I'm going to explain the upside, the power of no contact from a therapeutical point of view. We're going to analyze the psychology of no contact, how it affects your ex, how it affects you, with the end goal to get back together. You'll see everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So one thing you need to understand is that good communication is key to any successful relationship, and no communication is key to a successful breakup. Remember this, because sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we fail to communicate with our partner when we are together. Very often I hear people telling me, I was too complacent, I didn't invest in the relationship, I didn't manage to communicate during the relationship, and they want to do now the opposite and want to really over communicate with their ex, really open their heart, discussing about their feelings, but it's too late. Now it's time for no communication, and it's the guarantee that your breakup will be successful. Here is why. So first of all, the no contact rule, if you're not familiar with it, what I like about this rule is that it's very simple. It's just about don't call, don't text. That's it. Try also not to get in touch with their family, with any mutual friends and discussing about the breakup. It's really about creating a distance between you and your ex. I would also advise you to unfollow them from social media. This is more from your point of view, because anytime you see an activity from your ex, you get hits of dopamine. I'm going to discuss this afterwards. And this will bring you back to the relationship. But this will bring you back to a situation that you can't have. Okay? So it's a little bit like having a fridge full of food and chocolate while you're on a diet. And so it's going to be hard for you to be strict with the no contact rule if you keep on seeing, on having triggers, on having signs that your ex is around. The no contact rule could be temporary, could be forever. We'll discuss about that later in the video. It depends on your situation, and I know in this video I'm not going to tell you how long should be no contact, for the simple reason that it really depends on your situation. That's the limitation of making videos online, is that I need to provide content that are actionable, but at the same time that everyone can use. The problem is I've seen people having rules like 30 days, 90 days. It doesn't make sense because it really depends on your situation. So if you're not sure whether you should start no contact, whether you should end no contact, how long you should wait, get in touch with me. There's a link in the description to book a call with either myself or Elizabeth. Sometimes we just need a bit of clarity to understand what should be our next move, and things get into place very, very quickly. So why does it work? Because I'm really into the my approach is that the more you learn about your situation, the better the decisions. So it works because it helps getting closure from a messy breakup, from a breakup. It's really important to understand that a breakup creates mechanically a lot of resentment on your ex's side, resentment on your side. And if you want to have a healthy conversation, a constructive conversation with your ex, you can't have that right after the breakup. You need to create a space, you need to create some time for you to heal, for the resentment to disappear a little bit, or a lot, actually. We prefer that the resentments disappear a lot. The problem is that when there's this phenomenon of lingering feelings, we end up in a complex or complicated dynamic with our partner. They know we still have feelings, they maintain the relationship, the contact, and we kind of fight between, a discrepancy in terms of status, of us being the chaser, trying to get something from our ex, and the ex knowing or being convinced that they made a decision. And so it's very important for you to break this. I know it's hard to let go. Your gut is telling you, if I let go of my ex, if they don't hear from me, they'll forget me. And we'll discuss about the objection in a minute. But it's also very important for you to establish healthy boundaries. Right now, it's also for you to draw the line, to take back control. Very often you'll hear that no contact is a power move. Your ex was in control when they decided to end the relationship. Now it's your turn to take back control and say, okay, now I want to lead the race, read the narrative here. You decide to end the relationship. I don't necessarily agree, but I accept your decision, and now I want for us to take some space to reflect. It's also very helpful because it helps you to avoid saying or doing stupid things. 95% of the time, if you're in touch with your ex after a breakup, you might say things that are not dangerous, but 5% of the time you might be saying things or doing things that will actually kill any chance of you getting back with your ex. So by forcing yourself to be in no contact, being strict, being disciplined about that, you will prevent yourself from making mistakes, from saying the wrong things, from being too overwhelming, from trying to confront things, from being jealous, all these kind of toxic behaviors that will push your ex away. And last but not least, and I think this is the most important aspect of no contact, it allows you time to work on yourself. If you're in touch with your ex, you're going to be distracted on your own goal, on your own objective. It will also reinforce this idea that you're the loser and you're the winner. I exaggerate on purpose, but the idea of creating that space, that bubble, where you would have the ability to have a relationship inventory, almost a life inventory, looking at your insecurities, what the things you need to address, the things you need to change in your life. This cannot be done if you're in touch with your ex. Right now, it's really about you and you only. And you can only do it, and it will be way more efficient if you're not in touch with your ex, because it's going to create a lot of disturbance in your healing process and in your work that you're doing right now. Because you can't be focusing on you and focusing on your ex. Because focusing on you is really about the positive things, about the movement, about the acceleration, about the growth. Getting in touch, staying in touch with your ex is about the past. It's about trying to get something from your partner, trying to pull that person. That's not what will bring you happiness. That's not what will bring you that fulfillment, that growth. That is actually required if you want to get back with your ex. Now, if you break no contact too soon, if the temptation is too high to get in touch with them, what will happen is that you will annoy your ex. Your ex wants that space. They want time, they want space, they want to enjoy the breakup. It took them weeks to announce that they wanted to break up with you, and they had this pressure inside them. By leaving this breakup, by embracing this breakup, they would feel like a release, a period of release. The problem is, you don't want to hear what I'm saying, but that's what happens. The problem is that when you interrupt that release phase, anything that you say, anything that you do will annoy them. Because they will be like, I don't want to talk about that now. I've told you what I wanted to do, I've told you, maybe they didn't tell you, but they feel like, okay, I don't want to talk about that anymore. I don't want to confront this anymore. This anymore is just temporary. So the problem is when you break no contact too soon, you can leave, so you're trying hard to get them to engage on the conversation. And very often than not, it will lead to dry discussions. Your ex also will be scared that you're trying to get them back. If they break up with you in 1 week after the breakup, you're contacting them, of course they'll think, okay, you're contacting me to ask me to change my mind. Okay? If you want to get back with your ex, it's very counterintuitive, but that's how it works. They shouldn't be thinking that you're trying to get them back. You don't want to come across as someone who wants to change their mind. You just want to be, we are not together anymore. You're single, I'm single. Let's try to sort of spend time together and see what will happen next. The same way you would date someone for the first time. If you contact your ex too quickly after the breakup, of course they know, you're trying to get me back. You're the salesperson who put the foot on the door trying to sell me something. And I don't want this. Even though what you're about to sell is something that would be useful, that would make me happy, that would meet my personal goals. But the idea, the attitude will actually overcome the message. So don't get me wrong, I know there's this inner force driving us to connect, a little bit like, you know, you're addicted to that person and you want to get that hit, you want to get that dopamine hit from getting in touch. But remember, this will be at a cost. The cost of creating the wrong dynamic, the cost of interrupting their phase of release, and potentially making it harder for you to get back with your ex. So stick to the discipline because it gets you a result. And the other day I got a message on the Telegram channel that we have where I don't remember her name, but she was like, your videos and the Telegram channel really helps me to stick to no contact because now I have the belief that it works. And on our channel we also have success stories and people who are sharing their stories. So have a look as well if you want to know, if you want to follow our community, and also share some tips there. There's a link in the description. It's totally free, but it's also another way for you to learn and grow. Now, will it work 100% of the time? The answer is no. First of all, if your ex wasn't in love with you, no, it's not gonna work. Your ex will move on quickly, that's for sure. And no contact will not be the tool that will bring them back. They'll be more than happy for you not to hear from you, and they'll move on quickly. Now, if you have had something special, yes, it will have an impact. Another thing that I forgot to mention, and if you're not sure whether your relationship was special, have a look in the description. There's a link for you to take a quiz that will answer the question whether you have any chance of you getting back with your ex. This is also totally free. The reason I'm creating those content, those tools for free is because I also want to select my clients because I want to ensure that they get the best value. And Telegram is also a way for you to learn, to engage with me in a different way. Common objections, and I discussed this before, but if I go into contact, they'll date someone else, they'll forget me. Remember, if you're amongst the people watching this video who know that what you had with your partner was special, your ex will never forget you. And to some extent, if it's been a month, they haven't forgotten you. So this fear of abandonment is driving this narrative that if you're not in touch with them, they'll forget me. They look so distant. They on social media, I can see that they're already traveling. They don't care. It's not true. It's very easy for us to pretend to have something, especially on social media. You can pretend that you're the happiest person on earth. It's very easy to manipulate the narrative, right? That's why I think it's also important for you to unfollow your ex. What no contact is a framework that helps you to start your recovery. Helps you to, it's just a step one of that recovery process. And now it's your turn, my friend, your turn to work on a plan of action. What are the things that is required for you to fill that gap between the place you are right now to the place you want to be? If your ex broke up with you, it's because there was something broken in the relationship. Something needs to change. When you're about to change, or if you're thinking about change, any type of change could be, think about change management in companies, think about change in terms of your appearance, you need to find the right resources, the right team, the right people to help you and to support you. What you have to learn. Who needs to be on your team? Do you have like an ally, a friend, a parent, a therapist, someone you trust, someone where you could really bounce ideas, gain clarity? What are the things you need to learn to be, I don't know if you have an insecure attachment style, to be more secure? If it's about dealing with codependency, how can you work on that? If it's about anger management, how can you work on that? If it's about your lifestyle, perhaps you were too busy as a partner, workaholic, and you didn't invest enough time in the relationship. How can you change your job, your career to match what your ex is about to do? If it's about being in the same city, what can you do to align your life to what your ex wants you to have or be? You can do it because it's within your locus of control. Google locus of control to understand what I mean by that. You can control these aspects. Of course, there's always an element of uncertainty because I can't control what your ex will think, will do. But by really maximizing all the actions that you're taking every single day, that will have an impact on your ex. Only if you focus on the right things. That's why I think no contact brings clarity, forces yourself to look at your plan, look at your actions, look at your life in a very focused way, away from the disturbance of those messages. Because again, you can't be working on yourself and be in touch with your ex. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you like this video, don't hesitate to click on the like button. It does help me a lot. Or subscribe and be amongst our many subscribers. We are growing and I'm so grateful. I will see you next time. Bye.
For a long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.